I'm Tim Cummings, and this is The Button. I grew up with a collection of gold buttons that had been on my dad's uniform in World War II. During the war, Dad graduated the United States Merchant Marine Academy, obtained a deck officer license, and was commissioned an ensign in the United States Naval Reserve. On his license, he sailed as a merchant marine officer and twice circled the globe while upgrading his license to chief mate, which made him junior only to a ship's master mariner, the captain. On his last voyage, he found himself on the SS William Libby, on what had become, according to him, and newspaper accounts at the time, a nightmare journey. One article suggested the William Libby was a jinxed ship beset by bad luck. Years later, Dad confirmed, as the paper published, the voyage was marked by violence and a lack of discipline. It all climaxed in the ship's captain becoming incapacitated. Dad told me the captain had simply lost his senses and ability to command. The chief mate, my dad, assumed command of the ship under arduous conditions. This young man, one who grew old during the war years, as had so many others, but having turned 24 just days before, brought the William Libby crew and her passengers back to the United States without further incident. I was born 15 years later and enlisted in the Navy when I turned 18, but to be sure, there is no comparison of my service to that of my father's. He served during a violent world war, one that included fierce surface action and devastating submarine warfare, resulting in the sinking of over 1,500 United States merchant ships. The Maritime Service, the Merchant Mariners, suffered the highest per capita loss of life of any of the United States forces. I was in the service post-Vietnam when the military, indeed the nation herself, were trying to find their way after the turbulent 1960s, when the United States was fighting a war that frayed the weave of her unity. My era was about strategic deterrence, control of the sea, force projection, and overseas presence. Dad's was about delivering war materiel where needed, and he did so in every theater. The high seas were so dangerous during World War II that if a newly made merchant ship made just one voyage before being sunk, it was considered a win. In 2009, Dad passed away at age 87. Indeed, he and his contemporaries were, in that Brokaw-esque phrase, the greatest generation. It certainly gets no argument from me. So, being the captain of a ship is one of the highest achievements. My father, having done that, and at that tender age, was the subject of lifelong admiration from his youngest son. That's me. Immediately following his funeral service, I reflected on leadership lessons, on life lessons, he had conveyed to me. And somewhere in those moments, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a button, one that had been on my own uniform, and I soon released it into his grave. Without anyone seeing what I had done, I turned and stepped away, whispering, "Thanks, Dad," my mind on him being my father, of his wartime service, his style in general, and a life well lived, knowing all of that, all of him, influences me to this day. Bravo Zulu, Dad.